Here we go, 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 here we go. It is Markets in the Morning. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Thursday, February 15th, 2024. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the Bitcoin price chart and the altcoin market. While taking a look over there at the United States stock market, which is set to open up in 2 minutes. We, of course, take a peek over there at the US dollar currency index, or the DXY, and gold. And along with that, we'll take a look over there at any type of financial news or any type of crypto news to get our day going. Welcome. Here we go, guys. Wow. We are awfully close to that 702 Fibonacci retracement over there for Bitcoin, sitting at $52,434. What a time to be alive. Bitcoin back at the 702. The Dow Jones at the 4.236. The NASDAQ at the 4.236. What an amazing time to be present in markets right now. If you don't know, I just posted the newsletter over there this morning. Been working on this week. The great market convergence, Bitcoin, stocks, and gold. Obviously, you just saw those convergences. Exploring the intriguing nexus of this financial phenomena and the signal that history has told us about this moment. Integrating gold in there and the signals that we have seen for each of these Bitcoin bull runs and equity bull runs. And what is different about this one? So here we are, big, huge. Oh, by the way, there's a link in the description of this live stream, and let's post one over there in the chat. Why not? There you go. That's posted. Includes a 23-minute audio recording in there as well. Good data. All right. There we go. Bitcoin, it looks like the big day has arrived. It seems like just at the trajectory that we're moving, it seems like we're going to hit it today, right? It seems like today is going to be the big day where we're going to find out. February 15th, 2024. Go live throughout history. Go live throughout Luna collapsing, Celsius going bankrupt, FTX collapsing, Grayscale, Genesis, all their problems, everything like that. The fear, the 12K, the we're never going to make it, all of 2023, just doomtown. Here we are. We're at the 702 retracement. And, of course, the crowd cheers and chants for more. Man, here we go, right? We're going to find out probably today on what's going to happen with this thing. And then the stock market, watch all of that at the exact same time. So just such a crazy moment to be in here. Of course, the great thing is just for the rest of the market, the altcoin market, you of course look for this type of euphoria. You look for this type of excitement, this irrational exuberance, this excitement. It's all good stuff. People will fight tooth and nail to be bullish now and essentially chastise anybody who's a bear. Those are the environments of where high yield chasing happens and crazy risk taking happens. So it's definitely an exciting time in the moment in the market at this moment. But here we go. It looks like today we're probably going to get there. So the 702 retracement sits just north of $53,000. You can see we're only $500 away from it. Woo, boy. We'll see how it goes. So 786 retracement sits all the way up there at 57,536. So it sits a little bit higher than that one. So you got a couple, maybe about $5,000, $4,000 north of that one. There you go, 52,683 as the United States stock market gets opened over there. Altcoin market, of course, it has continued up. You know, if you caught the video that I put out on Monday, if Bitcoin heads into distribution here at these levels, the things I'll be looking for, of course, will be for this altcoin market to just pull back down in these levels and the bigger moves to come next, really kind of two sets of waves of excitement over there in the altcoin market following a move like that. If we see some serious distribution begin to start over here on Bitcoin as it's back at these retracement levels, only $300 away from the 702 retracement. We're probably going to catch this thing live today, aren't we? It sure seems like we are. Let's take a look. And so the thing is, each of these charts are different, right? So this is bit stamps. It's going to be a couple dollars different over there on Coinbase and of course Wix and all that stuff. So it'll be a crazy thing to watch it live as it's happening in there. Even if it does poke above here, it's not like it's going to tell some huge story if it does, because things could change throughout the day. But we're going to definitely, it looks like we're going to see this live today is what it looks like. We're going to actually catch this live happening in here. Unbelievable. Year and a half of this and saying it was people saying it was never going to happen. And then we get there and the euphoria everywhere. It's just as we said it would be, that the euphoria would all be there. And we'll take it. We'll take it all throughout here. As for XRP gets back above the level. How about that, right? This is what we've been watching for some time, waiting for some type of reaction to come out of here. This was the low, right? Met with really negative news, right? Chris Larson hack, $100 and something million of XRP, right? Great news comes at tops. Terrible news comes at bottoms. It's like clockwork on how it works. It's like it's designed to shake you out. It's the craziest thing on the planet because we all think that we all rely on our different intuitions and judgment calls on those types of things in markets, but they just tend to not work that way, right? Like the negative news comes after a period of pain and then it just washes people out to where they can't take it. And the same thing happens to the upside where the really great news comes at the peaks at the same time. Just kind of like what we've talked about with all of this, right? To get all the way up here and then the ETFs get released up here into the retracement levels. It's just the way it works, right? But as for XRP, this is what we're now going to be paying attention to over here on the price action moving forward with XRP. So we'll talk on this briefly. I do know not everybody here is for this particular asset, but it's one of my largest holdings. So, and I know a lot of my audience does pay attention to this asset. So we're going to talk about it here for just a minute. We are bouncing off of the support zone, right? The demand supply zone. This is where we should be seeing a reaction. It was anticipated that we would see a reaction in here. We still haven't seen anything drastic, but we are back above a level that should now turn into support. So it's going to be really important to pay attention to this level to actually convert it into support. And an example of that is like what we did see back in 2017. What was the element going on in the market at this time? Euphoria in the cryptocurrency market, irrational exuberance, extreme risk taking. We have all of those elements now. You have an extremely high stock market and all-time highs. You have all those elements lined up in there, right? So it's, flipping the switch, all that stuff, secrets upon secrets and plans upon plans, whatever. This is the thing that mattered, right? Extreme irrational exuberance and risk taking in markets, and people just willing to throw their money at anything at any time and not be like, I know that Bitcoin's 15.5 thousand, but I'm waiting for 12K, right? No, green line, buy, right? That's just the way it works. And when people get irrationally exuberant and ready to have extreme risk taking. So we're in an element of the market like that. Of course, with Bitcoin being back at those retracement levels and all that, the excitement out there in the markets right now. So this type of element does exist in this market right now. The thing that I'm going to be watching for to make sure it's not a trick, that Bitcoin doesn't reject at that 702, S hits the fan, stock market hits the fan, things just absolutely hit the fan and plans just fall apart very quickly, is simply if we come back down to the lows again, we shouldn't be revisiting these lows. An example of that would really just be what XRP did back in 2021 and 2022. In which it had this big crash, retrace back to the support levels, bounces out of the support levels back up, and then falls back through and then crashes 50% afterwards. We should be looking for some supports to be built in here and for some strength to emerge into the asset and underlying on indicators. So that's going to be the thing that we're going to be looking for now when it comes to XRP, is to build supports and to find some strength in here, not to find some weakness and come back down below and not sustain it, right? So we've seen it where we get back above, but the weakness is still there. The difference in this phase of the market, right, is things were already in a negative trajectory here, right? So like in all of this, so here we are in late 2022, right? Here we go, late 2020, excuse me. Here we are in 2022, January, right? The market is downtrending. Bitcoin is downtrending during this time and falling and falling and falling. Way down, right? I think we've already gone from 69K to 35K during a move like this. So Bitcoin's already expressing weakness, right? In our moves now, that's not what we're experiencing in the market. We've been experiencing upward trajectory in Bitcoin and in the crypto market, and a sense of more irrational exuberance rather than fading irrational exuberance like we were seeing in this phase of time. This is a period in here of increased irrational exuberance and excitement in markets, and that's what we're experiencing right now. So we're looking for the strength to hold, looking for a support to hold in here, and this all looks just fine. A thing that would start to express concerns again would be revisiting the lows again. Structurally, everything looked good. This is what we're looking for. We got the bottom. Good deal. Now, now time to build some actual supports up in here. And so you guys saw me do it plenty of times in the past. It's just taken a long time for it to get here. Just see us get up and then build a support, right? So now we're in that phase of getting out and then looking for a support to build in here. And for us not to start doing this kind of stuff, that would be very ugly to see. It's something I wouldn't want to see. And I'm going to go ahead and talk about that now to say if that showed up, that's where I'd start saying, yuck, something's not right here. Something doesn't smell right of what's going on in here. But as of right now, it's really following along with really exactly what we were looking for something like this. So the only thing is it's taken a lot of time. It wasn't like a really quick reaction that came out of there. It wasn't a ton of demand that just popped up in there. Did that have to do a little bit with the uncertainty of the Chris Larson hack happening at the literal bottom of it, right? And that's why it took a minute for it to recover out of there. It's possible, right? I mean, that's exactly what happened at the bottom. A little bit of uncertainty. Oh, crud, is there $112 million worth of XRP? It's about to get dumped on the market, right? Nobody's running in there just like, give it to me. Maybe so, but we'll keep our eyes on it. Otherwise, we do have what we were looking for. We've come out of that zone. We've gotten back above that resistance and support level. Now it's time to find a way to build a support on top of it. And so long as we're able to do that, dude, this could be it, right? We have all the elements in the market for something like that to happen. You got Bitcoin at the 702 retracement. You have irrational exuberance. You have excitement. You have an elevated stock market. You have all these things for good things to happen. So hopefully we do. We'll keep our eyes on it, keep checking on it, but congrats. And we had to wait quite a while for that to end up pulling out of there. We finally got it. Now it'd be about maybe a little bit more, but then support building, looking for supports to come in and start building themselves. Stock market, as it gets going, the Dow Jones is up 102 points. The S&P is up 9. The NASDAQ is down 12. Leaders and losers of the morning: Coinbase, Tesla, and Netflix up top. Google, Nvidia, and Ford and Microsoft to the downside. Yields are down. Long duration yields are down today. So I think they were down yesterday as well. Precious metals are back up. Silver got almost all the way down to $22. Now all the way back to almost 23, up 52 cents today. Gold back above $2,000 at 2006. You can see that over here, 2006. US dollar currency index of finding some resistance finally in here, right? So this little line I think this is to a 702 retracement as we did this. 702. You can see we have already gotten back to 618. So there's a good possibility that we could start finding the real resistance over here for the DXY and that concluding that ride up there. We'll see if it is. But if we end up getting all the way back down in here, this is where we'll express a lot of caution here on the YouTube channel in regards to boy. But like I showed yesterday, this was our period of excitement. The whole 2021 excitement period of the cryptocurrency market was just this right here, not that. It was this box right here. And there's a very good possibility that's what we're going to have happen in here. So sentiment is there. Excitement is there. Prices are up. Excitement is up. All right, Bitcoin, there you go, 52,677. Total 2, again, we've already talked about this at the beginning. All fantastic. We're getting the things exactly that we look for on the video posted on Monday and what we talked about with gold last week. That structurally, this is exactly what we have. This is the sign of strength phase on top of the preliminary support. Now getting the move on out of there, right? Just because we get the preliminary support move out doesn't mean it's instant, right? There could be that pullback, and that's what we talked about in here, right? So it still seems it would be the most likely, especially if we actually do see the distribution start to emerge in here for Bitcoin. Something like an A, B, C correction happening in here, then another push, which maybe even goes above the 702, and then eventually the longer one with the final shoulder happening in here. So, all right, there you have it. Stock market, Dow is up, NASDAQ is down. Let's take a look at that a little closer. There you go. So the Dow has not hit its 4.236 extension. It still has about 0.8% to go. It also has not gotten as high as the Roaring 20s. So the Roaring 20, and like here we're talking, the Roaring 20s was 530%. We've only gotten 529%. I don't know if it's going to get that extra 1% or not, but just to have a reference point in your mind of how high it is, and to understand how high we really are, it's only 0.4% away from being the height of the Roaring 20s, and it's only 0.8% away from being a full 4.236 extension. Whereas, of course, we have already gotten that over here in the NASDAQ, which is measured from the dot-com bubble from 2000 to 2002. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average is measured from a different time period. It's measured from the great financial crisis from 2007 to 2009. The confluence of both of those things happening at the exact same time, mixed in the confluence of Bitcoin getting back to its retracement level at the exact same time. It is a freaking wild moment in markets. If you don't know that, if you do not know that, it is a crazy moment in markets right now on how this is going to react and how these things are going to behave in here. These are historical major resistance levels, and we'll see how this market reacts to them. It is a massive, massive moment in markets right now. All right, I think that covers it for the charts. The altcoin market still continues to march on. We covered XRP over there. XRP gets back above the level that we've been watching, and it was the bottom. It nailed it. We talked about this the whole time. We said, hey, look, typically we're going to come back and hit that support, and we'll set one new low, right? We talk about the rallies at the bottom, the one that everybody is convinced is the actual bottom, and then it goes on and sets one new low, and that's the one that shakes everybody out. And not only did we get that, right? Go back and watch the live streams. Go do whatever you want here from late January. That's what we talked about. And then the next one that comes is the one that shakes everybody out. And so not only do you technically have that exact thing happen, then you have the Chris Larson hack happen at the exact same time. It was just absolute perfection of how to do it. That on a technical chart, that's exactly where retail and traders get shooken out. And then at the exact same time, massive, massive negative news happening at the same time. So perfect. Perfect. So, all right, there you go. 52,664 for Bitcoin, up 112 for the Dow, down 30, down 25 for the NASDAQ, up 8 for the S&P. Gold reclaiming some of its move back above $2,000, while silver's up 53 cents today, back to 22.90, with the DXY taking a little bit of a tumble in here after exceeding its 618 retracement on this entire range. So hopefully this is our moment. All right, let's move on over to financial news today. Retail sales tumbled 0.8% in January, much more than expected. Stock futures rise slightly as market rally seeks to regain momentum. Here's how EdTech company 2U spiraled from $5 billion to going concern. Okay. True Rebellion explores a sale as maximalist Y2K era styles make a comeback. Jeep and Dodge makers Stellantis profit slides as Detroit 3 strikes bite. Here are Thursday's biggest analyst calls: Apple, Nvidia, Snowflake, Coinbase, Skechers, Tesla. Any calls coming from Coinbase or any calls coming from CNBC? Seriously, so when we go through this stuff, all right, here we go. You're just going to go on a tangent. I just wonder how many of these articles are paid for. Like this one right here. Here's how EdTech company 2U spiral. Who paid for this story? Who paid for this True Religion story? I think about those things when I watch this, when I look at this stuff. All right. Dozens of banks rapidly piled up commercial property loans. The brutal reality of plunging office values is here. And this is the story. Apparently, this is the story. I mean, I know nothing about it, but I see it nonstop. And of course, the first one to truly break this is TXMC. And he's been talking about it for months, and now suddenly it's starting to make it into the mainstream. And it even got brought up on that 60 Minutes interview with Jerome Powell. And Jerome Powell even said, yeah, there's going to be some smaller banks that go under due to this. Downplaying it, but we'll see. The brutal reality of plunging office values is here. Boston faces a $1 billion tax deficit from faltering office market. Valley National's real estate loans are in strong shape, CEO says. Did he pay for this article? That's where my mind goes. All right. Putin steps into U.S. race to back old-style Biden over Trump. Bonds climb as retail sales fuel dovish Fed wagers. Markets wrap. U.S. retail sales drop by most in nearly a year after the holidays. So the buyers, all the shoppers went away. Temenos sinks most in 21 years on Hindenburg short report. Israel forces storm the main hospital in southern Gaza. Yeah, we couldn't get financial news without at least getting one thing about war. Over here on Bloomberg. Let's go ahead and look at that Fed stuff real quick. 90% probability that the Fed is going to be paused come March 20th. Probabilities out there. Throughout the rest of the year, the market has priced in 1, 2, 3 rate cuts for the year, which I believe is what the Fed has communicated what they're planning on doing. So we'll see if that holds true and if the Fed has to do what they've always done. And let me ask you this. All the Fed experts out there, because we don't seem to have many of them anymore. Do you remember like in late 2022 and early 2023, how many Fed experts we had? Everybody was a Fed expert. Everybody's a Fed expert right now and says that cutting rates is going to be bullish for markets. I challenge you to ask anybody who is telling you that cutting rates is bullish, say, hey, can you give me an example of that? Because I could tell you, I've gone through it all. There's none. There's none. If they're cutting, we are screwed. It is not a situation of where they just start cutting for the sake of boosting the stock market. They are cutting because S is hitting the fan. That is why they are cutting. Yeah. So hard stop right there. Okay. Stop cheering for rate cuts if you don't know what happens when rate cuts happen. And if you want to know why there's a problem with the rates and rate cuts and Bitcoin and the stock market and all that stuff, we talk about it all the time, rates, talk about it with gold. I make it crystal clear in this newsletter. Crystal clear. 52,774. All right, here we go. YouTuber KSI faces pump and dump allegations from Zach XBT and CoffeeZilla. U.S. investigates Trust Wallet iOS app for vulnerability. Bitcoin bulls flirt with 69K Bitcoin price target as crypto market nears 2 trillion. That's cool. It's like normal. We go back to the 702 and we're talking about all-time highs. Oh. Like you feel this intensity, right? You feel this intensity of today? Where we're at? You feel that? Crazy. Crazy. We are there. 52,840. $200 away. Holy cow. How many trolls, how many 12Kers said it could never happen? And then now I'm public enemy number 1 on Twitter. It's insane. It's insane. Twitter, you're drunk. All right. Crypto is inevitable, so we went all in. Meet Vance Spencer, Permable. Why South Korea's NPO generation is excited about crypto. YouTuber KSI faces pump and dump allegations from Zach XBT and Coffees. Oh, yeah, we already got that one. EU committee green lights world's first AI legislation. Bitcoin bulls flirt with 69K. What? It's like we already did this. Okay, so that's what happened. Okay, Trust Wallet, 69K, inevitable, South Korea, EU committee green lights world's first AI legislation, Bitcoin bulls for 69K, BlackRock Bitcoin ETF passes 100,000 Bitcoin under management. Under management. So like that's the thing that they don't tell you on Twitter. The Bitcoin bulls love to say BlackRock owns 100,000 Bitcoin. No. Under management. Retail owns 100,000 Bitcoin that is managed by BlackRock. Digitex Futures Exchange CEO indicted for violating Bank Secrecy Act. Wormhole crosses 1 billion in cross-chain messages of token launch. How are we doing Bitcoin? 52,799. All right. Right. So the major question is, will Bitcoin distribute from here? If the crowd is right, the crowd says we're going to keep going. If the crowd is right and it's going to just plow through all the retracement levels and keep going, the altcoin market would absolutely go nuts, right? So I'm maintaining the very conservative approach of saying, look, distribution, this thing distributes, and we look for the accumulation schematics, right? We're out of sign of strength phase, right? We're all just taking a very casual approach to it, right? If Bitcoin does do this, which retail's cheering for, and goes plowing upward, what would happen with this altcoin market would be an absolute surge of insanity. Personal thoughts are we're going to see distribution happen for Bitcoin here, and we're going to see, a more structured thing happen in here. But dear crowd, I hope you're right. But I'm not surprised to see the crowd massively bullish here. And I'm not surprised to see the crowd fighting it, because I've been through these before. And this is where the crowd does become aggressive and angry and frustrated. And the reason why is it was exactly like that in 2017 in this moment. And it was nice because it was just short-lived. When you expressed the concern there at this one right in here, the crowd was very angry. But it somehow always stuck with me in my head what that was like for those 3 days when the crowd did that. And so I know that behavior is actually very normal, that the crowd, you rally around each other. F the bears, right? We're in this together. We're fighting against the negative bears, right? We're the good guys. The bears are the bad guys. This is a fight for humanity. And it becomes this cultural thing, right? And just to not to get sucked into that. This is very real. Fingers crossed. But it's very real. Like while I have sold my Bitcoin, do I cheer for it to go blasting through? Of course. But you're crazy to think it can't get totally demolished from there. It totally can. So, oh my gosh, 52,726. What a dang. I mean, I want to use profanity, dude. That's how I'm feeling right now. Like, do you realize how much crap I take all the time on Twitter and in comments, right? Twitter's the worst for all that time, right? And then you get here and those exact same people turn into, you think it's going to stop here? It's like, bro, you commented for a year and a half that we weren't even going to get here. You think it's going to stop now? Intense, man. Intense. Good luck, man. Good luck, everybody. I just want to make damn sure you are aware where you're at. You're aware. Bitcoin. All right. Here we go. CoinDesk, what you got? What kind of FOMO stuff you got for me, man? Bitcoin yen pair hits record high. Reflects stress on Japan's fiat currency. Bitcoin's ongoing rally is telling of current market perceptions about fiat currencies, with sentiment being weakest for the Japanese yen. But baloney, man. 4 months ago, these people were screaming for 12K. They're only screaming for the moon now because price went up. Oh, this is why I don't gain subscribers, if you don't know. I'm a jerk. All right. There we go, guys. Bitcoin near the 702 retracement. Altcoin market, yay! XRP, woohoo! Got back above. Now just kind of waiting on the reaction of the market to see how it's going to end up going today. The Nasdaq is down 56 points. The S&P is up 6. The Dow's up 158. Ironic how that works, right? We're like, hey, look, the Nasdaq's already hit that 4.236, but that Dow's a little bit short. Somehow, some way, it rotates itself to make those magical certain assets go up for the Dow, but the other ones to go down for the Nasdaq. And so there you go. We're up in the Dow 165, down 51 over there for the Nasdaq. One other thing that we talked about in the newsletter that, and the one that I posted this morning, is that, we've talked about it, how Bitcoin's all-time highs are all correlated with equity market breakouts, especially with the Dow Jones Industrial Average, right? Go throughout all of history. You have your 2013, 2017, 2021 bull runs. They're all correlated with breakouts of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And the longest it ever took was 56 days. And that was in 2017. So the Dow, with conviction, broke out into its all-time high. It took 56 more days for Bitcoin to hit its all-time high again. Back in 2012, 2013, it was like within a 12-day range. And there in 2020 and 21, Bitcoin was 18 days behind the Dow to hit its all-time high. And then it took 33 days. And then Bitcoin had done the conviction big breakout into the new all-time high. The thing about right now is we're at 62, right? So we're at the longest amount of time. Oh, no, I guess maybe we're at 63 now. 62, 63, either way, beyond the longest amount of time ever for Bitcoin right now. And we sit here at the 702 retracement. So the $1 million question here, right, of course, with everybody is like, how can we only go to the retracement? How can we not go into a massive bull run? And that's where you got to dive through, like, well, what were all the things that were happening throughout markets when Bitcoin did break out into those all-time highs? And why was there that one time waiting for the Dow Jones to load? Why was there that one time the Dow went into the all-time high, but Bitcoin didn't follow? And what were those conditions, right? And so we have a lot of the conditions in the market that were like this, right? Like what happened with the Dow where it goes into that high, but Bitcoin doesn't follow it. And so here we go. We get all these 4.236 extensions hit over here. We're at the longest amount of time we've ever been with the Dow Jones breaking out into all-time high and Bitcoin not following. You have to start questioning yourself. Is this a 2019, 2020 fake out rally in the stock market? And not all, many things suggest it is. Suggest a breakout in the stock market. It does not match the conditions of the 2013, 2017, and 2021 bull run breakouts, in which Bitcoin followed those breakouts, like we said, within 56 days. Here we are at 62. We're not there. We're not even beyond the 702 yet. There's things that are missing, and there's definitely different economic conditions that are different right now from 2013, 2017, and 2021. But there's things that definitely match very closely to 2007 and 8 and to 2019 and 20. So watch out. All your favorite, if this thing rejects and there's some narrative to go with it, be prepared for all the people saying, oh, no one could have seen it coming. This news narrative happened. That's not fair. A lot of warning signs. Okay. Dow 175 with the Nasdaq red 52. How far are you? There you go. Still not above the big sell-off that took place earlier this week. But Bitcoin 52,681. So let's take a list. We'll at least give you the number here for where the 702 resides on Bitstamp, and then we'll do it on Coinbase. And then I think that'll be it. Then I'll just hop into the chat and we'll go from there. So I don't know if this is matched perfect. Like this is how peculiar I get. All right, there we go. We were off by $10. And so a lot of this is going to be based off that one liquidation. I'm sure everybody's got a different liquidation price and where that happened at. 79 looks good. Okay, so this one is at $53,051 for Bitstamp. And then we're just going to look. I just did the same thing. We'll look at Coinbase. Yeah, that's not accurate. Let's see how far that was off. Off by like $80. All right. Here we go. Sorry, guys. I just want to, before we get off, I want to make sure that we have it all correct. All right, here we go. That one was off by about $1. Okay. For Coinbase, 53,045. So I think we said 53,041 for Bitstamp, 53,045. So essentially, just kind of pay attention when all of your favorite clout chasers post 53,000 on Twitter. It's pretty much every $1,000 is celebrated. We're kind of at a point where we're up 2%. Everybody, let's talk about it. 10%, 9%, 6, 8, 6, 4. We're up 2. Let's all hoot and holler. Okay, there we go. I will stop being a jerk. Guys, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. Welcome to the 702 Fibonacci retracement for Bitcoin. Now back to 52,439. We'll see how the day goes. I don't know if we're going to get it here while we're live. We only have about 20 more minutes to go, and then we got to get it going. But a little bit of relief over there on XRP holders, though, right? Finally got out. What do you know? We get out right when we're getting to the 702. Interesting stock market. Again, it's Dow being the showstopper today with the NASDAQ really being pulled back. Coinbase doing well today. Coinbase now back to 169. There you have it. Happy Thursday, everybody. One more day till the end of the week. If you're looking for something to do, definitely check out the newsletter that I wrote today. It will give you a much bigger picture of what's going on out there. This is the thing too about this one. You guys hear me say it all the time. Rate cuts, like show me an example of where it's bullish. It's all proven in here, and it's all shown with gold and how gold is not acting as if this was a true breakout in the stock market, and that these things are important to be paying attention to right in here, along with Bitcoin back at these levels. This is a subscription-based newsletter. It's $20 a month, right? If you want to go buy it and then read everything and then cancel your subscription, I don't care. But I pack this stuff full of data. I try to make it so non-opinion pieced when I put these together that they're data backed, and you can go see it, and you will see that any information you are getting out there telling you that when the Fed is going to cut rates, it's going to be bullish, you're being lied to. Straight lied to. Then the data proves it. So believe what you want. What's happening here with Bitcoin does not match what happened in 2013, 17, and 21. So you better hold on really tight to that fantasy of block reward halving. You better hold on tight. because you don't have the economic conditions for some $200,000 Bitcoin in there. Okay. There you go. Eric Martinson. What did the... Okay, here we go. Yeah, I yesterday I said, why don't you guys do enough jokes? Eric came out swinging. Why did the cryptocurrency break up with its girlfriend? Because it was tired of always being dumped on. But thank you, Eric. And then Eric gifted a membership there in the chat. Thank you, Eric. What did the altcoin say to the Bitcoin? Don't worry, I'll be your backup plan. Hit that like button. Thank you, Eric. Why do Bitcoin investors want a Lambo? Because they know Ferrari is owned by Fiat. Hey, I hope my wife is listening to all of this. And then he says, like this video. Thank you. We got 3,500 people in here. I'm sure I have said enough things to earn a healthy amount of thumbs down today, guys. If you could help me out and smash the like button, I'd appreciate it. Eric Martinson gifted a BCB membership. Eric, thank you. Man, Eric, you were crushing it all before the stream even started. Thank you, man. Hot Tub Brian came in and gifted a BCB membership, followed by Mark Schneider. Guys, thank you. Then again, Eric, thank you. Mark Thomas said, you are the best on the tube. God bless, my friend. Dude, just very kind. Thank you, Mark. Hot Tub Brian, HTB, gifted a BCB membership, brother. Thank you. Eric says, sign up for the BCB Substack. Oh, yeah, included the link. There's so much alpha for one low cost. Let's go. Eric, thank you, sir. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you for the newsletter plug. Jeff Dubai, hey, BCB. When do you expect the Fed to make the first cut? How long do we usually have after the cut to have a bull run? Do you think we will see new all-time highs across the market or only retraces in 2024? You do not get a bull run when the Fed starts cutting. Clear as day. You don't get one. Everything falls apart. Everything hits the fan. Everything crashes. There is no bull run once the Fed starts cutting. Will you get like one little pump, like a finishing rally where all those people who have the perception that we get a bull run, like they're like, finally I can buy, but they're buying the top of the market and they give it one last little push. We do see that sometimes. Like we saw that during the prior to the great financial crisis. There was one last little rally of like a couple of percent. And then we also saw that over there prior to COVID. But no bull run. Like the cuts unequivocally during the QE era, right, for the last 20 years, when those cuts start, doom time. Doom. And like, I'm so dead serious on it. No bull run when the Fed starts cutting. And the people telling you otherwise have no clue what they're talking about. No clue whatsoever. Jeff, I love you. Thank you. I have no clue when the Fed is going to cut. I can only go off this, right? I can only go off what the market is pricing it in. Right now, the market says we're not going to get one until June, right? Just 2 weeks ago, it said we had like a 50% chance of getting one in March, right? Like, so this thing is ever changing, and we'll have more economic data, and we'll have more things change, and we'll have more deterioration happening in the economy that will shift this thing all around, right? Essentially, the Fed's probably checkmated. The Fed is probably completely checkmated. We're going to get one more CPI reading, right? And that's going to come in the second week of March. So that will come in before the March 20th reading that we have here at the March 20th meeting and the decision. There's a realistic chance that we actually do see CPI have a 2 handle on the front of it, like 2.9, 2.8. It really depends, because we're going to be dropping a 0.4% month over month out of the year over year calculation. So if in our reading for February that gets released there in the second week of March, if we come out with like a 0.2% CPI for February, then our year over year will drop to 2.9. If we come out with a 0.3%, then we're only going to drop to 3%. We're not going to get lower than that, and that's probably our bottom when it comes to CPI. Likely the next reading on CPI is going to be our bottom. maybe 2.9. It just depends. Will the Fed begin the cut process at that point? But when you look at the CPI readings out in the future, it's going to be very, very difficult to be able to drop CPI any further than where it's already at. And so it's probably going to drift back up into those mid threes again, back up into those upper threes again. And will the Fed be okay with that? That's the big question, right? Because there's not going to be some signal there saying we're going to go crumbling down in inflation. If anything, it's like pointing to you didn't win your fight where you were trying to get to 2. Good luck. I don't see anything in the data suggesting they're going to get to 2 right now. You know, I know everybody points to that Trueflation website that says it's like 1 or 2, but we're just not getting that in the readings, right? And so in the readings, you know, if that's what they're going off of, well, those readings, the data sets that they're showing us, those aren't going to get to 2. No matter what the Trueflation website is showing you, you're not going to get it there. So is the Fed checkmated? Where you have banks rapidly piled up commercial property loans. They're stuck in a refinancing situation here. Businesses are stuck in a refinancing situation, and they've just been holding on to a thread, waiting for this to come to be able to refinance at a lower rate, which, as TXMC even shows, they can't even refinance at this type of cutting. They need rapid cutting. But the Fed is also backed into a situation where they can't cut because inflation is not going at the trajectory that they thought it was going to go. And is that the official checkmate, where the market checkmated the Fed? And you've got businesses and commercial properties that desperately need refinancing but can't do it. And inflation is returning and the Fed can't cut. And the only way out of that is what? Let it all burn. Like that's the only way out of it. There's going to have to be something destroyed economically. So there's, again, and this fairy tale always gets painted that we're just going to have the Fed start cutting for us up here, and that's going to send us, you know, rampaging into a bull run. And it's like, well, okay, sure. What references are you using for an example like that? They don't have any. There's none. They don't have any. Because that's not what happens. Right? Money printer, Jerome Powell's turning on the money printer. It doesn't happen. It's got to be bad first for it to like impact. But the thing that we could get is we could get that big misconception, that group of people who do follow it and think that rate cuts mean bull run. They all just massively buy the market all at once, and that gives a little bit of a push up. But that would be the exit door. That'd be the exit liquidity to get out, based on history at least. Eric Martinson gifted a BCB membership. Brother, thank you very much. Eric, you are the man. Ethan Davis, what beach will the party be at? I don't know yet. Depends. Do we get $3? Do we get $5, $8, $15? What do we get? That'll determine whether we get Daytona or whether we get like the Bayou in Louisiana. Not the Bayou, but you know, the beach, the Gulf. Ethan Davis, what? Thank you. I appreciate it, man. HTB, 1 BCB membership. Thank you very much. Hot Tub Brian, you're on fire today, dude. Thank you. The Freakish Fish. Hey, what's up, man? United Kingdom officially in recession today. Seems weirdly timed news. Thanks for everything. Yeah, UK's in a recession. Huh. Yeah. Thanks, brother. Miles Pry. I'm going to hit the sell button to send you guys LFG. Or you've made the most amazing timed thing in the world. We're going to see. Miles Pry. Thank you. PDude215 gifted a BCB membership. Bro, thank you, man. I don't think I've seen you come across doing that before. Thank you. DJ Mist 9111 BCB. Why are you not looking at the June-July 2019 702 retracement for Bitcoin when compared to it now? June or July 2019 72 retracement for when Bitcoin compared to now. Similar timing of the cycle. It's not similar timing though. Truth be told, and I showed this over there on Markets in the Morning, maybe earlier this week. I know because I get it. Like people on Twitter are sick of me saying, "Hey, we spent a year and a half saying we're going to go back to retracement levels." We get here and it's like, "Okay, we're here. Watch out, guys! Everybody, run, hide!" Right? They're sick of that. They've completely flipped to complete bulls. So I just entertained it and humored it for those people who need that. Need to hear their bullish views, and this means absolutely nothing to them because they're going based off ETFs. Which, why didn't you care about ETFs here? Why do you care about them here? Okay, all right. But so here's what your argument is, right? Right, that you're kind of like that far along. Like, well, I mean, even in this circumstance, you're super way far along, right? You're way too far. But even in the reality of it, like how we knew the bottom was in, how everything happened. Like, I'm not gonna go painting all the fractals and do all that stuff in here, but you are absolutely. I'll do this one. I just don't want to. I'm feeling lazy. You are so deep into this thing with how far you are. And like even in here, right? This is like your alt season here in 2017. It's into this little retracement. You have it right in here, right? They're just both at the same time. Where are you? Total 3. There you go, right? See, the retracement comes in here, right? You are just way deep into this to the where like even your timing, if you were doing 4-year cycles, you're there, man. Like you're so deep into this thing at this point that you're not only like right here, like you're so far into it that you're even deep enough for it to end up getting going from a time perspective. So I don't entertain this because this was also a very standard behavior. This is a contracting triangle. This is a crash, retrace, reaccumulation. And this was actually the second time Bitcoin has done exactly this at the positioning that it did it at, right? So I've talked a lot about super cycles in the market before, and that's exactly what ended up happening right here. So in this super cycle, right, the whole 2018 through 2020 behavior, let's make sure I got that lined up right. There you go. These are all the same phases of wave 4, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, full extension, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, full extension. And even the COVID crash, right? Like you can see it in here very clear. Here's your A, B, C correction. Here's your A, B, C correction that your COVID crash actually was an appropriate wave, and it was intended to be there, and then you go on for full extension, right? So there's just no basis to be like, this is your 2018, and this is June of 2019. This is your 2019 retrace, go back and do another one. It would just be in an appropriate place for it to happen. It's like either one of two things that you have going on here right now. The only logic I can make behind any of it, okay? One, it's been that my whole theory has been to go back into a retracement, right? So either we're going back into a retracement. This is the end of an entire cycle for the US stock market and for Bitcoin at the same time. And there's going to be a multi-year period of much more difficulty for Bitcoin ahead. or two, that you are either starting a whole nother super cycle. And a whole nother super cycle, it could last a very long time because each one gets drawn out longer and longer and longer. But we have done all phases that are necessary for a completion, right? And I said I wasn't going to do it, but here we go. We're going to end up doing it anyway. That you've done all phases of a correction in here, right? Like your peak, right? Where your peak comes in, right here, right? Line it up right with the peak, right? Then your bounce, and then you go plunging, right? These are the exact same size. Right? We started right there, right? Boom, bam. FTX gets you right there. And then, you're starting off. Let's get it lined back up again. Then you're starting off and into a whole another new super cycle that's just going to last and last and last and go on for a long time, right? And so, why would that logically make sense? And it's because we just completed a whole super cycle for Bitcoin, and now another one begins, right? The problem with that, right? So the problem with that is this. It's the stock market and the timing of all of those things occurring. And that's why I've been this advocate of saying, I don't think so. I think it's just going to go back into a retrace because we're going to see something change in the United States stock market. One of the things that I write about in this newsletter that's incredibly important too is what were the elements that happened for every Bitcoin bull run? When were the Bitcoin bull runs? Right? It's right here, 2013. It's right here, 2017. And it's right here, 2020 and 2021. What is occurring in all of these things? You get real breakouts happening here in the United States stock market, right? We've had situations where they're fake breakouts. We've had situations in here where they're fake breakouts and they go crumbling back down. And the question is this a real breakout? Is this one of these? Or is this a fake breakout like we have seen before? And so there are elements that are present in economic data that were consistent amongst these three, all right in here. And there is economic data on this one right here. And there is economic data that is consistent amongst the two fake out rallies. What do you think the economic data of this one right here is consistent with? Is it consistent with the three breakouts that go for bull runs for Bitcoin? Or is it consistent with the two fake out rallies that were not? The economic data for this is consistent with the fake out rallies, not consistent with the breakout rallies. So that's the concern here. Otherwise, you have literally done what we've all been looking for. If you are new to the channel and you just enjoy being like blockchain backer, no nothing. We went through all of this, all of it together, right? Here we go. We've gotten back to the 702 retracement. Still, it's all following it just fine and dandy. The problem is that. The problem is this thing right here. The problem is this thing right here. And if there's going to be the consistency of the fake out that happens in the markets, and the economic data as presented in here showing it is consistent with that of the fake ones. And these fake ones, the one that we have during Bitcoin's existence, which is here in 2019 and 2020, Bitcoin did not go into new all-time highs. I don't find us saying, hey, look, and so this is why, right? So your question is, will we do one of these? And it's like, well, this is a wave 4 consolidation. This is a technical Elliott wave structure, and this is a technical Elliott wave structure that shows up in wave 4. So you have very specific waves that show up in wave 4. You have different styles of Elliott wave. You can have these contracting triangle Elliott waves. You're typically going to have triangles in wave 4s, or you're going to have triangles in wave Bs during ABC corrections. You can have these contracting triangles. You can have expanded flats, running flats, many different styles in wave 4. But this is also what we did in wave 4. It would just be bizarre and inconsistent. The consistency is much more consistent to starting a whole new super cycle actually here for Bitcoin. The major problem, literally the only reason. Otherwise, like if I was only looking at this, if this was all I was looking at, people, like Bitcoiners, and when I say people, I mean Bitcoiners. If this was all I was looking at, and it's the only thing I cared about, like we're repeating cycles and we're starting a whole new super cycle for Bitcoin, I literally might put a price tag on the screen saying $1 million. Like seriously, like that's what a whole new super cycle would be. Like a whole new super cycle for Bitcoin. Just the first run, but $1.7 million, right? If I thought we were starting a new super cycle, the major problem is the following of those super cycles when they happen, that they follow broader markets. And the things that are going on in markets here outside of just saying, hey, we've hit a 4.236 extension, magical unicorn fairy dust. There's the elements there too of the fake out rally that happens. And we don't have the same elements of what we did in 2013, 17, and 21 for Bitcoin's bull runs. So I don't think we're doing this. If anything, if anybody, like if there's a bull case for Bitcoin, if there is a bull case, it's just that it's starting a whole nother super cycle. It's just going to go on for forever, right? The new super cycle begins, and that rather than taking, how many years did this one take? It goes from 2015 to 2021 compared to the previous one, which went from 11 to 13. 2 years versus 15 to 26. It takes like 18 years to get all the way to $1.7 million or something crazy, right? Like it just slows down. But the problem is it's not the same economic conditions right now as 2013, 17, or 21. And I think a lot of people know that. And so they sell the baloney narrative that the Fed cuts are going to be bullish when they're not. They're just not. So, Godspeed, Bitcoiners, I'll cheer for you, man. And I don't cheer for you because, like, I care tremendously about Bitcoin or anything like that. I just know if this thing went off into new all-time highs, these things would go just into the stratosphere. They would. Like, the altcoin market would be so ridiculously, stupidly crazy. We're not going to Daytona. We're going to Dubai, right? Like, it'd be great. I think we're going to see something more muffled. We're in this like exciting phase, but I think it's going to be more of a distribution style phase for Bitcoin, right? Where Bitcoin's going to stall out here at the 702. And this distribution could still last for months on end, right? That's been like my theory of like, hey, JP Morgan isn't going to sit here and just distribute in a matter of a couple of weeks, right? They're going to be up here for a couple of months. Hooking BlackRock up with that sweet Bitcoin that they bought from all the 12Kers, right? They're like, yeah, we bought it all up here knowing that they were going to be on that ETF. Here you go. You guys can have it, right? When they say BlackRock has bought $100 billion of Bitcoin, it really should be retail investors have bought $100 billion worth of Bitcoin from BlackRock that was provided by JP Morgan. How close did we get there? Very close. Okay. I'm done. I'm at an hour and 3 minutes. I haven't even gotten close to getting through the chat. Okay. PDude215. Today's my birthday. Is today Moon? I hope you're not talking about Bitcoin. I hope we're not talking about Bitcoin. But Aptos up 12%. Now, could you imagine? Like, so that's the thing. That's why, like, I don't get excited when these Bitcoiners all post are up $1,000, right? Like, what does 12% look like on Bitcoin? 58K. Could you imagine them going nuts over a move like that? Could you imagine them going nuts over 8%? right? They celebrate every 1% gets celebrated massively. It's like I don't like feel anything with this thing. And I know that people don't do math. They just don't do the math. It's a cult. It's a, we're all on the same team. We're all excited because we're doing this together. It's percentage measurements matter over price. Percentages mean everything. Price does not. And that's the thing that they're ignoring here is the percentages. It's lost. It's the price. It's the round number. It's all that stuff. And it's just lost. Moving on. All right. I gotta finish this before this like the spice overtakes and blows out of my ears. Stephen Edinburgh gifted a BCB membership, brother. Thank you very much. Hot Tub Brian gifted one as well. Stephen and Hot Tub Brian, guys, thank you. And Hot Tub Brian, you're just nuts today, man. Thank you. JB Estrada. So 12K is next. Happy birthday to PTW. Wait, what about my birthday? Everybody forgot my birthday. All right. Altcoin artisan Grandma is asking me how to buy Bitcoin. Uh-oh. No, she's not. No, she's not. John Clark, hey, BCB, when 12K, when moon? Just kidding. Can we get your thoughts on Bitcoin dominance? This is the time for it to just be utterly destroyed. And I talk about it all the time, right? Like it's influenced by Tether. It's influenced by Ethereum. Remove those, right? You look at others. Others bottomed in June, all that. I don't think there's anything to stress about there. If there's anything that's going to be like a big swap or like an aggressive move, boy, this sure is a place for it to happen at right here, right now. Patrick Shupfinger. Oh boy, I don't know what that is. Hey BCB, if you take the fib from XRP's bottom at 28 cents to the peak of the lawsuit, but look where the Larson hack brought us to. Thanks for everything, man. Oh boy, is he going to tell us 702? Where am I going? Are we going from the legit bottom? Great find, man. I love it. Good for you on finding it. Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. So if you look at the rally from the very bottom to the very peak of where the lawsuit took us, and then where Chris Larson's hack happens at the 702 level of that whole thing. How about that? How about them marbles? Thanks, man. Gino D'Amelio, are you still planning to add XRP to your position on a retest? Yeah, I will do it. But this will have a stop loss on it. This will essentially be below there, 48 cents. So looking for a little more juice out of here, then looking for a real test to come down in here. Like if we just shoot straight back there right now, I'll hold off for a minute. But if we get a little bit more of a break and then gradually work our way back here, yeah, I'll go for it in here. I'll go for it with a stop below here. Chris DeLeon, love me some spicy BCB. Thank you. And I try not to be. It's not who I want to be. I want to be like, we're all just not perfect people, right? Like if I want to be like, what I really want to be is come on here and just, I don't know. Sometimes I'm hard on myself too. Like, just remain humble at all times. But then there's difficult parts of that. Like when you're like passionate and you've been through these things so many times, and you like, when you're in these moments down in here, do you remember this? Like just a little while ago, right? This is less than 6 months ago. Everybody's screaming, we're going lower. Like it was frustrating. And like, that's where the spicy term came. And like, we had to fight against that. And, like, you're always having to fight against the crowd, and it's exhausting a lot. Cause it's all coming from a place of trying to help people, right? Of trying to be like, you got to wake up, man. Like you are just traveling with the crowd, and the crowd is the dumbest place to travel. Like, it's so stupid. Like, they are always wrong. And there's so much grifting that goes on in this space of just totally master artful grifting. And people don't realize it's happening to them. And when we're low, they're terrified. When we're high, they will fight to the death that we're going to keep going higher. And for that behavior to happen here, when we've talked about it for so long, you see it, right? It just happened. And like, it would be one thing if it caught us by surprise. It's another thing to talk about it for a whole year, to say they're going to be euphoric back at the retrace levels. They're going to be ecstatic. They're going to buy it. They're going to scream, we're going to the moon when we get back to the retracement levels. And they do it. And I think the frustrating thing is that, like, I turn into the enemy on Twitter. Like, you get so many things right, and I get it, there's some things that are wrong, but you get so many things right, and you just always end up being the enemy of the crowd. But I guess it just makes sense to always be the enemy of the crowd, because they're the ones who are providing the liquidity in each direction. They're the ones who provide the liquidity, the exit liquidity at the top. They're the ones who provide the entry liquidity at the bottom. They provide the supply, and then they provide the cash, and that's the crowd. And the thing that I'm passionate about is trying to wake enough people up from that. And sometimes spiciness comes with it. And that's not something that I come on here and intentionally try to do, but it is what it is. And I think we're just going to have to accept that as part of my trait, unfortunately, but that's what it is. I must have went on a really good tangent, because then Dr. Ty says, hit the likes if you want to see some spicy BCB. Then Grumpy Old Men says, wow, massive amount of spice today, BCB. Yeah, well, it is what it is. Dang, I'm so far behind at an hour and 11 minutes. Guys, I'm going to fly through this. Guys, we're not going to do any altcoin requests. If you got any altcoin requests in there, sorry, we got to keep going. I'm way too behind. I'm over an hour and 11, and I'm not even halfway through Super Chats. I'm at Super Chats from 40 minutes ago. Oh, my gosh. All right, Oscar Hernandez, brother, thank you very much. Nick and Garita, base case for alt market is to do retracements, but that doesn't seem to have enough market cap space for XRP to full extension. Am I doing that correctly? Well, that's not base case right now. Base case right now is for to actually get into a new high. Like we showed over there with gold, something along the manners of this, right? It gets into a new high, but whether it has a full extension and therefore the actual market cap, that's to be debated, right? This is your standard accumulation schematic. This is where we are at. This to get a new high seems very likely or possible. I won't say likely. Seems very possible, but yeah, it would require some serious juice in XRP specifically to be able to obtain that kind of level, or at least some type of serious drainage of Bitcoin for something like that to happen, right? So we'll just have to wait and see if there's anything screaming something differently at the time at like $3, $5, or something like that. But yeah, it's going to require some big juice. But I wouldn't say that this structure necessarily says it only goes to retrace. The structure could give the juice to get into the highs, just maybe not like massively into the highs. Ben Heller, assuming Bitcoin does reject the 702, what is the support to look out for on the doomsday scenario? Okay, I got to get moving really quick now because there's a lot of stuff going on, and I just have so many in behind. A normal behavior here of distribution would be an ABC correction to come out in here, but for it to still be able to hold support here above $42,000. If it holds above $42,000, I'm not saying it even will go that low, but it definitely could. Goes all the way down to 42. And then it could even still poke up even higher again in here and then roll over and then lights out. In the event that this is this, right? Then just plowing right through that $42,000 would be an absolute nightmare for everything in the market, likely. in doom, but like if you're talking even deeper than that, like way below that, that's so far away to worry about. Like, not even anything about it. And just so you know, all of you people who are like, if it went to $3,000, I'd buy that. The vast majority of people do the exact same thing, that you get down there and you say, nope, I'm not buying yet. I'm waiting for this little price a little bit lower. And then it never gets reached, right? And then it goes up and you scream for it to come back and everything. Like, we'll worry about something like that another time. I'm not here to scare the daylights out of everybody today with that type of stuff. The things that I just want to say is, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. All right. Rizwan Madakia, how accurate is using the funding fee to predict direction? XRP funding fee is increasing rapidly. Does it mean we need a flush first? You would probably need to go cross-check that yourself on historical behavior of the funding fee and overlay that on the chart. And just it's all the kind of stuff you could do yourself, right? Go overlay it. If you're looking at that, go overlay it. Go see how it's done, where the funding is coming from. Are you like using Binance, or what are you using? And see if you can find consistencies. And that's the whole point of technical analysis and technical tools and everything like that, is just to cross-check it all over and over and over again to see what has the more signal, right? What gives you signal? You're very unlikely to find anything with a 100% signal. It's very unlikely. But you may find stuff that has like 70% signal or 60% signal or 50% signal. And then what makes that light bulb go off is when you have that one indicator with 70% signal and that one indicator with 60% signal and one indicator with 50%, they're all going off at the exact same time. And you're like, oh, crud. They're all going off at the exact same time. So a lot of times just using one thing alone isn't enough. That's why we use multiple things and try to find those all to go off at the same time. Eric, happy birthday, PTW. Another great day to celebrate. Thank you, Eric. Robert Barker, hey, BCB, sir. Can we have a shout out for VeChain? Okay, shout out for VeChain. I don't own any, but shout out. Tino, why do you still own Bitcoin if you believe the potential upside for alts is much greater? Well, you have to understand how much Bitcoin I had. And that, that would mean like you haven't really followed me for very long. As for Bitcoin that I own, right? All my Bitcoin was bought down in here in 2018 and 19. So it was all bought throughout here and all throughout here, all into that doom, and writing in my news, writing in my emotional log while I'm doing it. I hate myself. I hate my life. I hate everything about this market. It's the most worst place in the entire world. Oh, it rallied. I don't feel anything. This is dumb. I don't feel anything. This is interesting. Oh my gosh. Right? Like those who have gone through my emotional log with me, that's the journey of it, right? And so all that was accumulated. When I got right here, I sold 65%. And I was kind of looking at that and the irony of it and the funniness about it. It was like right in here. It was all the same thing. And then this thing rallies and you have the laser eyes and diamond hands and you have everybody going crazy and everybody trash talking over there on Twitter on everything, right? Everything. You guys know I've been through this rodeo before. It's not the first time. And it was all right here. It was a week after Elon Musk and Tesla add Bitcoin to the balance sheet, right? How could you do this? The narrative is so good, right? How could you do this? The ETF, the narrative is so good, right? Like that was the same thing here, right? And it just all tumbled over on itself. But anyway, yeah. So Bitcoin, right? I am willing to say I could be wrong, and I will hold a little bit in the event that I am wrong, right? We get down in here, grab a bunch of it, right? It becomes the number 2 holding. Whoop. Let go of everything that was bought down in here in Bitcoin related to Bitcoin. And now I still just hold the stuff that I've had for the longest time, which I've already taken my 65% profits on. It's always been part of my exit plan. It's out. That's out. We're good, right? So if I'm going to have some exposure to Bitcoin, I've got the appropriate amount that's comfortable for me, which represents 8% of my entire portfolio. That's it. I got it sitting there. Right? What if I'm wrong? What if I have egg on my face? What if I'm the clown of Twitter? Right? Bitcoin, world reserve currency. Right? I got some exposure, right? But I have the amount that I'm comfortable with. because I've already gone through massive stuff with Bitcoin. I've now just hit 2 of them, right? You got that one, and then I got that one. Like, I just don't need to. I can look at percentages. There's just not enough there for me to be like, it's number one thing. But am I willing to have just a little bit to say, what if I'm wrong? Sure. Oscar Hernandez is ex-lover. Oscar's a player, huh? BCB is the only tube TA I listen to. Hi, Oscar. Oh, with the kissy face. Sick Thinker gifted 5 BCB memberships. Thank you very much. Dan Vaughn, new member, welcome. Azahar, what's happening with natural gas? It is obliteratedly wrecked, is what natural gas is. Who's ready to renew those electricity contracts? Who's ready? Sign up. Sign those 2-year contracts, everybody. Any guess for a bottom? You're the best. Thanks. I mean, naturally, this is just the historical lows, right? Like, let's go. Oh, I don't know if you're trying to trade it. I'm not a trader of this. I don't touch this. I just celebrate it being low. I'm like, let's go. Right? But, unfortunately, it has very much a mimic of a completed crashing structure, right? Like, you've got all the elements. That's roll up to wave 4 within wave 5, and boom, there's 7. So it's probably bottoming pretty soon. But hopefully, like, that bottom, it's like long enough for everybody to lock in those 5-year contracts, and then it comes back again. It's definitely below historical norms. Like, this is the bottom, right? But again, this chart only goes back 6 or 7 years, so I don't know. I'll take it. Thank you, Eric Martinson. Why did the cryptocurrency bull market go to the gym? Because it wanted to pump up its gains. Don't forget to run. That's right, Eric. Thanks for reminding me. I'm trying to incorporate it in running. If you guys, I do. Hey guys, have you ever heard of CrossFit? You should all join CrossFit. It's really a great way to stay in shape. No, I pretty much only do HIIT, but I'm now trying to get into running. I hate it. Makes my knee hurt. What all people complain about who make excuses. B, member for 8 months. Like the video, everybody. Thank you very much. Skeleton, gifted a BCB membership. Skeleton, thank you. Oscar Hernandez, gifted 1. Then Hot Tub Brian with 5 after. Man, what's going on here? Thanks, guys. Am I getting closer? I'm only 25 minutes behind. Oscar Hernandez, 3.4 thousand views with 1.3 thousand likes. Let's smash that like button. Oscar, thank you. Eric Martin says, John Deaton for Massachusetts Senate. Unseat Warren. The time is now. Deaton for Senate. Like this video. Okay, so I have a pretty hard rule on my channel that there's no politics that I talk about. My job is not to sway you politically, whether you are right-wing, left-wing, in the middle. It doesn't matter. I truly try to keep politics off this channel. I'm just very well aware people, like, we get that stuff jammed in our face a lot. But on my channel, I've really tried to make, like, this is a safe place where you can just escape from that crap, right? Like, and I'm not here to persuade you in any way. I'm not here to do any of that. You're welcome to just believe whatever you want. But as Eric just said, this time is different. We're definitely on the John Deaton train. Elizabeth Warren, you're out of here. So this will be the only one. John Deaton for the win. Elizabeth Warren, going down. Let's go. Kiss visuals. Go long. How long do you think the alt season will last? Well, I mean, in any event, if it actually gets strongly going, weeks, right? If you're lucky, 2 months. If you're lucky, 3 months. But weeks should always be the thing. Like, identifying it, like, okay, we're deep in it, right? We definitely have been in one. I get some people have some assets that are not doing well, but we've been in one. That's the hard thing to recognize, because when the crowd says we're in an alt season, like, all you have to do is get, like, right here, And then the crowd says, oh, we're in an alt season. And they didn't identify it beginning in June, which we have here, right? That's the thing, right? So like the bulks of the stuff happening in here, up 200, right? And you get going. Oh, now we're in alt season. It's like, well, we've been in it, but now we're in like the escape velocity portion of it, right? But most percentages get made early on. When you ever hear the stories of somebody turned X amount of dollars into X amount of dollars, it's not because they jumped in late, which is what everybody does when they hear those stories. They jump in late. It's the people who got in much earlier. Like there's one coin that is really being passed around in the XRP community over there on Twitter. If anybody asks me about it, we're not going to talk about it in the chat. Sorry. Because it's already up 2,000%. And so everybody's shilling it to each other. Everybody's trying to pump their own bags even higher. There's a lot of late entrants into it. They all want to pump it up even higher. But it's already up 2,000. The winners of that were the people who got in the depths of despair and took that 2,000% ride, not those people who are buying after the 2,000% ride and who are sharing it all over Twitter. Hey, come buy this because I've bought it, right? Like, gotta, math. But weeks usually. Kenny Marshall, trying to learn TA instead of randomly going with the crowd. Can you explain why you said the other day that you don't think HBAR will reach a full extension? I was thinking $2 based on fibs. What is a reasonable retrace? Well, I'd go rewatch that, Kenny, because it's with the market cap, right? The difficulty of it getting to a new all-time high is because of inflation, right? And so that's another thing that I talk about on here. We're talking about importance of tokenomics and the market cap versus the price. Because when a coin has massive inflation for a long time, it impacts that. It impacts the ability for it to rise. And even one of the newsletters that I wrote over here on Substack, plug the Substack again, talk a lot about that inflation rate. And again, like I said, it was a terrible title because people probably thought I'm just beaten down to hear about inflation, but we're actually talking about tokenomics. We're talking about inflationary supply rates of these tokens. And how when they have extremely high inflation rates, that of course not only impacts how much they rise, what their probabilities of getting into new all-time highs, but also their percentages. And so HBAR, while now in a very normal inflation rate, what did spend a long time with a very high inflation rate. And so for the price to actually catch back up to where the market cap is right now, it'd have to rise 200% just to get to where the market cap is. But I don't know. Let's see if I still have all my drawings on here from yesterday. There they are. Right, so you're using $2 on this, but this token was massively impacted by inflation, right? So like if you went based on the market cap, the market cap actually is a 881% rise from the current location to a 4.236 extension. And if you did 881%, you actually only ended about 80 cents, right? So that's if HBAR goes for a full 4.236 extension on its market cap. And the reason why that is due to the inflation that happened to it. The inflation impacted it. So, you get beaten down by those coins, and it's probably important to go check and see what you're sitting there as a long-term hodler in, and make sure these things don't have, my hard line is like above like 22, 23%. If they're over that level, that's historically a bad number. HBAR is not that anymore. But for those who were hodling it for a long time, you got really hit by the inflation rate of HBAR. Thank you, Kenny. KRPG, do you still think BCH can hit? This is probably not. No. Alberto's Cowboy, thoughts on Temptation Ethereum ETF, bull or bear? Templeton. I really don't know. Like, because we went the Bitcoin ETF stuff, it went on for over 5 years, 6 years maybe for the Bitcoin ETF. And then, they launch it back at the retracement levels for Bitcoin, right? Like, if you're going to get some Bitcoin ETF, will it just be used by the banks as their distribution method of Ethereum onto retail, right? So maybe we reach some level, and that's the trick they have up their sleeve there too, maybe. But, Ethereum is the backbone of most of the cryptocurrency market. So, fundamentally there, but you got all the complications. I don't know what the SEC is saying. I don't know about the Ethgate stuff that's going to impact it, right? The hidden ICOs and all that crud, and whether that's going to have any impact on it. Like, I just don't know. But I have no problem with people speculating on it because I own it. I own Ethereum. Oscar Hernandez, 1.5K more likes to match the views. Smash the like. Fibonet, can you tell me if the graph has enough active developers to push the price up like the last bull run? Well, just go look on developer report. I'm not. So if I was going to go look up number of developers, I would go to developerreport.com. Right? I go here, I go down to the bottom. And down here, I can sort these alphabetically. And now, at this time, these guys, they've changed the way they do stuff in this last report. They only show them if they have at least 15 developers. Everybody who is below 15 got cut out, full-time devs. So let's see if the graph is even on here. The graph, 27. Down 27% year over year. Down 58% total developers year over year. So being at negative 27%, the market average is 24%, down 19%. So the market average is down 19% on full time. So it's down more than market average. And then as for activity, here's your devs, total monthly active developers. So just even total, no recovery in here, just going in the absolute wrong direction. Monthly active developers way down. Monthly commits are going in the wrong direction too, now below the support levels of the lowest it's been since January of 2021. Still holding January of 2021, but the enthusiasm of this is gone. Right? This is like got the AI narrative attached to it. I'm very sinister of the AI narrative. But anything for the animal spirits. But yeah, not looking fantastic. I mean, directional, right? But Santiment, check them out, right? Not sponsored by anybody. I like saying that. Not sponsored by anybody. But they've got good resources, and I love playing around on Santiment. It's a website. All right, that's going to be it for this one, you guys. Check it out. Got a new newsletter out today. Lots of time. Of course, it includes a 23-minute audio recording over there. Knock your socks off. It's a great time to get educated. Check out bcbacker.com. Enjoy 40 videos, over 40 videos, over 11 hours of content delivered by yours truly. I apologize for running this thing for over an hour and a half. I did a really good job last week, really nailing it down to getting it in that 45 minutes to an hour long. I think this week, just with us being there at that retracement level for Bitcoin, it's a little bit more, anything. Anyway, I'm just making an excuse for not following through with what I said. I will do better. I'll do better. All right. Otherwise, guys, check out bcbacker.com. Check out blockchainbacker.substack.com. There's links in the description of each of these videos and live streams to it. Otherwise, I wish you all an absolutely wonderful, wonderful day. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this live stream. Please give it a thumbs up. Andy Philpott, thank you very much. 5, If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor, but if you ever need to pick me up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.